ordeal.
And they are busy out and about checking around Hampton roads this morning. We'll get to them as soon as we can to talk about what's happening in your neighborhood. Right now we go back to John Massey in Chopper 10 flying high, and John again at the Oceanfront, a different look this time.
Yeah, he made that hop, skip, and a jump over Croatan to the Virginia Beach boardwalk. Hey, John.
We came past Dam Neck. They obviously have higher sand berms around the Dam Neck area. We didn't see any overwash there. We're just coming up on Rudy's Inlet, just about to pass over Rudy's Inlet. We're going to come up here and stop and see just how well that seawall that was built around Grommet Park held up. Just from my perspective, it looks like it did its job fairly well. I don't see any major damage done to the park itself. You can see some of the tents just to the right of that. That's where the East Coast Surfing Championships were supposed to be getting held. You can see a lot of surfers down below. Hopefully they'll get some nice waves. Got a lot of surfers in the water as well. Looking up along the oceanfront at the seawall, just follow that up, Chris, just slightly to your right. You can see how the surf gouged out the sand away from the seawall, so there's some water that's right against the boardwalk there as the surf came in very, very heavy last night and yesterday afternoon. But you can see a lot of that beautiful sand that we did have is gone, unfortunately. But hopefully they'll be able to get that replenished once again, like we did after Isabel. But the beach looks to be a little bit more narrow as we work our way northbound, looking up toward the Virginia Beach fishing pier. What I want you to notice is the fishing pier remains intact. That's the good news. Bad news is there was some slight damage done to it. Some of the railing is missing. It's one of the older wooden fishing piers that we have around the Hampton Roads area. A lot of people are coming out onto the beach now, a lot of surfers, mainly surfers, but there's a lot of sightseers working their way up and down the boardwalk just to check things out. And check this out. Let me see, pull you up in position here. Follow the boardwalk out. And right near the end, there is a cut through all the way through the end of the boardwalk. Follow it down and to your right, Chris. Come out toward the end of the fishing pier. Right there, push in on that for me. Take a look at that. A whole section of the fishing pier is gone. So you used to be able to walk right out to the end of the fishing pier. You won't be able to do that anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
So there is quite a bit of damage there.
And you know, it bears comparison, John, because earlier today in the Ocean View area, you were showing us what was once Harrison's fishing pier and is now the Ocean View fishing pier. When it was rebuilt to look a little bit more like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel or something, with the concrete pilings and a concrete pier instead. Certainly a much more expensive option, but we didn't see a scratch or a dent on the Ocean View fishing pier compared to what we see in one of the older wooden piers here.
Indeed not, Carrie. I watched that pier get built after Hurricane Isabel originally destroyed the original wooden pier.
Yeah.
And they used those concrete pillars, and they drove those into the sand bed for quite a distance and then built the pier on top of that. So that held up extremely well, almost no damage that I could pick up at all. But the older fishing piers like this, they're starting to show their age.
Sure.
This one looks buckled in several spots. You can see a couple of folks walking along that came out to see just how much damage was done. Unfortunately, this may succumb to storm damage as well, as once they get out here and are able to do the inspection on the pier itself before it gets reopened to the public. Obviously, they're not going to be able to go out to the end to fish as you normally would or may be accustomed to.
Yeah, that last step is a doozy, that's for sure. And in fairness, you know, this pier being in the Atlantic and the other one in the Bay too may have taken higher surf.
If you're just waking up and joining us, we are providing continuing coverage of Hurricane Irene and the aftermath. John Massey flying high right now over the Virginia Beach oceanfront, checking out some of the damage to this pier here.